Hey everybody, what's up? How are you? How are you? Welcome to Mr. Rogers. Oh no, we've been canceled. Alright, no. No, this isn't quality public television. We can keep going. This is privately funded ludicrousy. Alright, how many players we got? Tonight is 10 plus 2 Swiss. The 10 plus 2 Swiss. Sac draw, Zen chess, Ruslan Bear, Acerbate. Guess what? Sac draw doesn't have to play me 10 times today. That's why I made it a Swiss. Alright, everybody. Let's see. Copy link. And I'm going to send this. Happy Tapir. Happy Tapir Day. Copy and World Tapir Day. Join the Horses Club. Message members. Last call. Oh man, my caps lock is on. Happy Tapir Day. This keyboard is loud. Rapid slash. 6 rounds. Starting soon. At 7 p.m. Wee. Oh, that's annoying. If I guess it's in caps, I gotta get used to this new keyboard. I'm Steady. What's your name? And I still didn't put the link in there, like a moron. But I'm not too late. There, paste. Alright. So, last call. What's up, guys? Oh, shucks. I don't get to play me 10 times. Gets a little old after a while. Sex Draw just donated 607. Bring us to 316.07. For those OCD inclined. I want to correct that. So, what else is the news today? What happened today? What's happening here? Oh. What's happening? So, World Tapir Day. Zen Chess. Sorry to see you go. No longer a subscriber. You know what happened, guys? Uncle Yermo had to have like quadruple bypass surgery. And I know that he's been sick since last year because when he went to play at the World Senior Team Championship this time last year, or actually in June or July, well, a little less than a year ago, Uncle Yermo got sick in Poland, had to be in the hospital, and I didn't know exactly what the problem was. He's living in Turkey, and we're not close friends, but I always respected Yermo. And I was surprised that he's living in Turkey. I mean, first of all, I guess he's Jewish, though probably not like practicing Jew still. It's a little weird to be Jewish and live in Turkey, okay? But anyway, he's living in Turkey for a while by choice. He's like an American citizen for sure. So anyway, I guess he has a heart attack, or it finally reached the point where he had to have surgery. So he has quadruple bypass surgery. He's like a huge medical bill he has to pay. And so they have like a GoFundMe for Uncle Yermo. If anyone's interested, I'm sure you can find it very easily. Sponsored by Kaidanov and Alex Shabalov. But then, you see people posting on Facebook, and the first moron who posts is like, the English Grandmaster Daniel Gormley, he's like zero empathy and no thought. He's like, why is he? What is he doing in Turkey? You know, it's like, does anybody even have a clue? Why do I live in Hungary? That's like the question. Why do I live in Hungary? I mean, Gormley lives in UK. At least they have the NHS. I mean, the NHS sucks from what everyone says, but at least it like exists. You know. I guess if you have to have quadruple bypass surgery, it can happen, and you're not saddled with lifetime bills. Dude, why do you think Uncle Yermo's living in Turkey? I mean, why am I living in Hungary? Why do you live in Hungary, Saji? Because it's fucking unaffordable to live in the United States. Do people realize how unaffordable the United States really is? Especially on a like chess player salary? Are you serious? What kind of moron would ask this question? What's he doing in Turkey? He's probably like living a better life than, you know, he'd be capable of living in the United States. But anyway, so Uncle Yermo has like $64,000 GoFundMe goal. If anyone's interested, look that up and donate. But I just can't believe how insensitive and stupid people are. Like, Gormley is, I guess he doesn't have any empathy or something like that. But it's such a stupid question. I wanted to post on Facebook, and then I like, no, I'm not going to like get involved. You know, you're most sick. I'm not going to have a fight about how stupid people are in their comments on Facebook. Don't comment on Facebook or anywhere, or any forums for that matter. Don't fall into that trap. By the way, it's very easy to fall into that trap. Don't fall into the trap. But if anybody asks why I'm living in Hungary, why the fuck is Yermo living in Turkey, just stop and think for a minute, you know? They're like, oh, he has crushing medical bills. Suat Adalik originally posted this link I found, you know, and they're like, crushing medical bills. The goal is 64,000, okay? Let's just put it this way. He'd be in more trouble if he was back in the United States than in Turkey. If his goal is 64,000 and that's his bills for quadruple bypass surgery in Turkey, you know, bro. No, seriously, how much do you think like quadruple bypass surgery and staying in the hospital for like months would cost the United States? Everything you have, bro. Like, if you have $200,000, it probably would get wiped out easily, you know. 64,000 is nothing. But anyway, it's still, you know, he probably has to pay this money, and it's a serious thing. But I'm just saying, it would be worse if he was in the United States. Because contrary to popular belief, Medicare does not pay, you know, 100% for your health care and stuff like that. And I know for a fact. So he would be fucked if he was in the United States. Probably worse than in Turkey. We love the NHS. We love Hungary. No, a lot of people go to Turkey to get medical care. You know, butt lifts and stuff like that. Not to make light of the situation, but I just can't believe how ignorant Gormley would be to say that. It's like, what is he doing in Turkey? Dude, go crawl back under your internet rock. That's such an ignorant comment. Do you know how bad it is in the United States? How bad everything is? How over scam priced is? I know the UK is expensive too, but nothing could be worse than the United States, man. Where you get scammed for everything. I can't afford to live. I could live maybe, like, if I was single, I didn't have kids. Maybe I could afford to live one person in the United States and have a decent standard of living. Certainly I couldn't be a chess player. So be thankful for your NHS, no matter how bad it sucks. Alright, anyway, donate if you can find the link to Uncle Yermo's GoFundMe. I'm sure he'll get a lot of support for his GoFundMe. Thank you, Anonymous Gifter. Nice. For Zen Chess. See? Zen Chess lives in the United States. He can't afford to subscribe to my stream. Just for example. He has to live, you know, in like a homeless encampment. When you ask me why I live in Hungary, this is the type of reason why. You know, everything is a scam in the United States. And it's worse now. I mean, Trump is like fucking everything up even worse. But even before Trump, it's horrible. I can't afford to live there. Why do you live in Hungary? Because I can't live in the United States, bro. Unless you make at least like 60 grand a year, you can forget about living in the United States. And I make less than that. And I'm a chess player. If I wanted to work for the Postal Service and be like a slave, you know, Uber driver has to drive Ubers. And he still just can't get by. You know, he's lucky his wife has a good job somewhere. So anyway. Alright. No, I'm in a good mood. I'm not really in the mood to rant. I just wanted to bring up, you know, Uncle Yermo's situation. We've known he's been sick for like a year. Again, we're not close. I'm very okay with Yermo, but it's a question of maybe supporting other chess players in a similar situation. All right, so we are hosting a rapid tournament. We have 5 players here. I sent out, no, we have 9. Nice. Long live Uncle Yermo. He looked like he lost weight. They posted a picture of him in the hospital bed, and he actually looked okay, to be honest. I mean, a quadruple bypass, I guess it's going to make you feel better in the long run. If you needed a quadruple bypass and you got it, you're probably going to feel a little better with some proper heart function or whatever. Lucky to survive, though, you know, and get that procedure. In America, it would have cost him, like, you know, $1 million. I don't know. All right, so anyways, just be sensitive when you ask people why they live in Hungary or Turkey. Don't assume like life is good in the United States, because it sucks unless you're rich, and that's the point. And it's getting worse, dude. Yeah, thanks, Zenchess. Zenchess posted the link there. So yeah, let's substitute that. All right. Could easily happen to me, you know, similar situation. Artem. Time, no time. No time. Ruben, fine. A plan is made for a few moves only, not for the whole game. Well, that's like Uber driver level quote. Uber driver, what's up, man? Nice blog. Now officially a blogger. I respect. There's tons of respect for bloggers here. Sparkle Horse, Saxac Draw, Zenchess, Wellen Sitic, Uber Driver, Nefidov, Sunprism, Ruslan. Oh, I like the United States. I just can't afford to live there. Exactly, Nefidov. It's a nice place to visit. You just wouldn't want to live there because you're going to be like crushed by financial debt, unless you make 6 figures a year. No, it's the system is rigged. Anyway, we can have a much better standard of living in Hungary or in Turkey or whatever. So, yeah. Pawn the team rapid. I don't know specifically why. You know, it's a question as to why specifically Ermo's in Turkey. It's not because of Adalik, because I know they had like a falling out. So he didn't go there because of SWAT. I just think it's odd, you know, for a Jewish guy to move to Turkey, but whatever. Your employer is ashamed to allow you to disclose your salary. All right, let's go. So we're playing Sun Prism. Okay. Do 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 do. In the move for chess, this is a 10 plus 2. It's a little tricky with the increments. Gotta remember where our increment's at. Not 5, but 2. Oh no, not the start. What? Not the start I needed. Whoa, what did I get there? A message? Artem, we're hosting a tournament here, guys. Does anybody want to join our team, by the way? I know I'm in there, bro. Right. Today is World Tapir Day. We always joke about it at poker because, you know, Tapir sounds like two pair. Tapir. World Tapir Day, May the 6th. Alright, so now what is this? You decided to take on e4 and play knight f6. I had the exact same game yesterday. What a coincidence. I must have played this against you at least once. It reminds me of the English line. That English line. Yesterday I played a weird move in this position. I played g3. I don't think it's particularly effective, the g3. I don't think I would necessarily repeat that. I mean, alright, I'm talking too much. Depends on which state you live in. In Omaha, you can get an apartment. That's true. I don't know what Uncle Yermo's deal was. You know, at one point he was at the Mechanics Institute, so he had a job working as that was years ago. Okay, that's years ago. Okay, whatever. So at some point he was living in San Francisco, which is like game over, one of the most expensive places in the United States. But that's true, you know, Zen chess. Like, it depends where you want to live. I guess if you live in, you know, a really rural area somewhere in West Virginia, it's not so expensive. Alright, h6. Right, okay. Okay. But I think that what people have to realize is that there's this old standard of the United States is so great, you know, everybody wants to live there. And the truth is that life isn't necessarily better in the States than Europe or a lot of places. Turkey, for example. Turkey is probably really nice. It's like such an ignorant comment by Gormali. Alright, wouldn't be the first time. He's kind of a master of that. I was going to castle queenside, but now I'm having second thoughts after c5. Maybe not. Trying to force this queenside castle business. What am I going to do, though? Castle's knight c6 anyway. He's going to put pressure on my center till I have to capitulate. Queen e2. Move 11 had a game like this. I remember he showed me where he like sacked the d pawn. I'm not feeling that inspired. This is lame, but I'm going to castle kingside. This is lame. Pretty lame. It's standard chess. We're playing boring kind of standard chess now with c3. Not ambitious. I wanted to play ambitiously, but that went out the window. You know, I should have considered bishop e3. Damn. Bishop e3 looks pretty good, actually. It didn't hit my brain. I could play bishop e3. But he'll just play knight c6. I guess in that case, we could go queen d2. So bishop e3, knight c6, queen d2. With the idea of castling queenside. An alternative. This is lame. But I'm trying to get people to understand the old belief that life in the United States was better than the rest of the world. While that's true in a lot of cases, it's not necessarily true. There's this false belief, that the United States is great. Why would I be living in Hungary for 20 years? If you like getting your children shot in school or whatever, it's good. Yeah. Let's just say that life in the United States is overrated, and comments like that are inappropriate. It strikes home to me, I completely understand why Uncle Yerma would be going to Turkey. I don't know Turkey particularly, but it seems like a great place in a lot of respects. Except for the massive dictator consolidating military power like every other. Turkey's army is huge. I think Turkey has the fourth largest army in the world. I was talking about bishop e3. Bishop e3. And then what? What am I going to do after that? You know what I mean? What if I move my knight? Screw it. It's a Kali system. Code. I prefer code. Code there. Sporgasm. Astrobate versus Sporgasm. Featured in Soft Pawn. Anyway, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not into ranting today necessarily. I just wanted to mention the Uncle Yermo needs your help. And my advice to you guys, when you get the instinct to respond to someone on social media, just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap, answering the Gormalies. Just let their stupid comments slide. It's not worth your time, getting pissed off about it. People are inherently stupid, and you're probably not going to change it. So don't argue with the trolls. Alright. Castle. Very quiet little position here. We have the queenside majority versus the kingside majority. White is a little better. Not a very exciting... Oh, what happened? Well, he's been sick since last year. Last year, he played for the U.S. 65 plus team, and he played the first round and then had to leave when I was there in Poland, and they wouldn't say what his problem was. He ended up having his appendix removed or something in hospital in Poland. So I didn't know. Everybody's oh, it's something serious, but no one would say what it was. So I didn't know if he had cancer, heart problems, something serious. you know, I don't know. And then yesterday they posted this thing where he had quadruple bypass surgery. For all I know, that's not his only health issue. But I will say that he lost weight, but he doesn't look unhealthy, he was overweight a little bit in the first place. Now he looks like he's at a healthy weight, honestly. He was always a little bit overweight, not a lot, but a little. And the photo from the hospital looks like pretty good. Like the kind of weight you want to maintain at age like 65 or whatever. So hopefully he can live for a long time. Very common to get bypass surgery. I guess the prognosis might be pretty good. Okay, what are we doing here? Castles. Queen e4, queen f5. I was gonna play, the obvious queen e4, queen e4, queen f5. I could do that. Have a slight endgame advantage. The problem is there's no good square for my bishop, so this quiet move isn't much. Any takers for f takes e? No? Okay. White with a very small advantage. But I mean, I could find myself in Uncle Yarmo's place. I hope that he reaches his GoFundMe goal. And I know that Yermo and I know that Kaidanov and Shabalov are honest, and they're gonna, so if you donate to that, it's 100% legit. But whatever. You're trying not to play, so I figured I'd watch some chess. Yeah, this is the move I expected you'd play. Indeed. Oh no! Last night I went to bed really late, then I got to sleep, was sleeping well, and someone woke me up, and then I went back to sleep, and then they woke me up again, and so I had to have like a second nap, and now I feel like I'm finally like rested. Give me the bishop. We'll take it. I'm settling for a small but lasting slight advantage. Why wouldn't I? Bishop with queenside majority. This is a pretty serious technical plus. Sloan Prism plays a solid French. Sorry for the technical game, guys. Not a barn burner. I do what I have to do to grind people down. Is anyone else? Let's see. Can I? No, because this is Swiss. I can't see the standings. You know how much like Lichess hated creating the Swiss system? I think that someone had to like forcibly like torture Duplessis to get them to implement adding Swiss tournaments. It probably took like weeks of very painful torture to get them to add this feature years ago. They were very resistant on this site to adding Swiss. It doesn't look like they've really done much for features, or I should be able to see like the standings or something like you can in the arena on the left. That would be not a big ask, you know, just see the standings while you're playing. I guess I can have a second window open. Yeah, okay. But, you know, to make it simpler, Slung Prism using his time. Good job. Slung Prism formerly was always playing too fast, and now he's using his time. Very good. Very good, man. You're using your time better. We just have to both remember that this is 2-second increment, not 5. Not a problem online. Definitely a problem. Yeah, definitely a problem. I'm going to play conservatively here. If I put my bishop on e4, he's settling. I'll take it. Sold. Sold. Very good endgame for white. I wouldn't claim that it's necessarily winning. You'll have to ask Karsten Mueller about that. But definitely very favorable for white. Pawn imbalance, bishop versus knight. Technically, I'd probably rather keep the rook. I'd rather keep the rooks on. Get me in there. King d4. I don't know if I can actually penetrate any further. I mean, maybe theoretically it is a draw, but it should be difficult for black. King d4, king e7. World. Weird seeing some Prism low on time. Maybe he's just learning to use it. He's not really low on time. He gets 2 seconds back every move. Maybe he's just getting better at using increment. If I get my king in there? It's getting kind of crazy with that knight. Oh no. That way. Wow. Wow. This wasn't an optimal structure. Interesting. Six Centipon loss. 8, 7, 4. He might be a little underrated. But I like the comment about him using his time. Yeah, he used to play too fast. Now he's like the master of increment. 14 players. No requests to join today. Asterbate, did you admit anyone to the team? The knight maneuver over to the king side was really weird. Out of nowhere, he was like, knight somewhere, knight f6, knight h7. Like, where did that come from? I didn't play great. There had to be a better way to play that endgame to preserve some winning chances for white. Stockfish analysis doesn't really do it justice. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of like subtle inaccuracies that are made that are hard to identify. I should be able to play that in a way that leaves me more chances to play for a win, even if it objectively is a draw. It seemed like it was just too easy for black. Very easy. You know, you didn't have to do anything. Alright. Play passive and draw. Easy. Normally if you play passively, you should have to suffer. But like, some person play passively and drew easily. It doesn't seem fair. You didn't have to suffer at all. Like Nefedov will. Nefedov will now suffer. Suffer the wrath. What is he gonna do? Suffer the wrath of Nefedov. The wrath of Khan. Where's Mr. Coffee? Alright, anyway, good game. You like went directly into that minor piece ending, which should be better for white. What did I do? Oh. You could look at the computer analysis and say I did nothing wrong, but I don't believe that. You know, there's got to be better ways for me to play that, to at least have some chances to keep it complicated. Maybe at the point where I traded rooks, I had to, because you're going to penetrate your rook on the 7th, but I should prepare for that and not allow it. It would be more beneficial for me to keep the rooks on the board. Pterodactyl. What's Nefedov doing? He like went in a tunnel again? He's gonna get his opening explorer out. Are we here yet? Oh, there you are. The grab. Grab and go. Check. Pterodactyl. Check. 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 I had one of these many years ago. I don't remember when it was. But the Weedmaster also used to play this. We got it, you know, from Ivanov and long before anyone tried to promote it as Sniper or whatever. Okay, the Roman and I, like with this, of course. So rook b1, d6. Yeah, I don't like this line for white. Most cases, people I've seen lose with this line with white. You don't have to play this way. You know, instead of knight c3, you can just play c3, and that's essentially kind of like a c3 Sicilian of sorts. But there's a more important variation. What is it? No. I think like no. Actually, yeah. I mean, there's other moves. Knight fd2. I think c3 is solid. This I don't trust as much for white. I don't think it's very good. It looks active, but it's not that good. It's all smoke and mirrors. Your bishops aren't that good. Smoke and mirrors variation. What's up, Antonio Morales? No time to play today? Very nice format. 10+2. Not enough increment for Morales. I don't remember if Nefedov in particular I've ever had with this. But I have had this position before. Many times. Not so much recently. As I'm not playing like, g6 that often. The other thing is that I think objectively well, you can also play knight c3. That's a common line. And d5 transposing. That's what Hebden did against me. Transposing to a kind of Benoni. Alright. A quick hello and goodbye. Hello, goodbye. What's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe. SLADGIE's best moments. What was that? What is that? SLADGIE best moments. Damn, Nefedov. You say hello. That's the Beatles, right? I say hello? I don't remember. Whatever. It's only been 30 years since I listened to the Beatles. Or more. More. Really. I used to listen to the Beatles a little bit as a teenager. Then I kind of grew out of it. The classic rock influence. Beatles are great, but not my thing. Beetles are delicious. National Beetle Day. International Beetle Day. Great American food. Come on, guys. What are you doing, Nefedov? What's he thinking about here? Like, so dramatically. Another tunnel? Oh, what's that? Wow, Richard Brenton just tipped 33.93, taking us to Transylvania in August. I'm gonna play in Chicxareda, otherwise known as Mercurea Ciuc in Romanian. Ooh, big disaster in Romania. Far right nationalist content. The far right nationalist presidential prime minister, whatever candidate is way ahead. Huge disaster to get a Trump-like prime minister in Romania. Romania has been one of the most consistently democratic Central Eastern European countries. It's an absolute disaster if that happens, and it's, yeah. So much for Plan B. My Plan B was to move to Romania if I had to. Now I don't know what to do. If the EU, if like Hungary leaves the EU or something. Okay, so you thought forever on Bishop H6. Yeah, I had like the same game recently. I feel, but that wasn't you. Maybe I shouldn't voluntarily retreat here. Into my... Yeah, this is probably a bad move, I have to say. Okay, that's nice. And stopping knight g4. Come on, Nefedov. Step on it. The Fast and the Furious. He's making very stereotyped moves. He tanked on bishop h6, and now, you know, what anybody would do. h3, rook e1. All normal. I don't normally make a habit of castling queenside. Uh-oh. Subtly attacking f7. Oh yeah, I just realized what I was thinking. Okay. He's subtly attacking f7. Subtly and suddenly. By playing this move, you don't really have like a concrete immediate threat. But you eliminate the possibility of, well, actually knight g8 wasn't a threat anyway. So what do I do now? There is that annoying check on b5. If knight e5, check. Castling queenside could be useful. I don't like playing without a plan. Porcupine. International Porcupine Day. Morales said, what? It's just a calendar of your biggest... What? Oh no. It's not you again. Mr. Coffey's going to be very disappointed. But he knew that, right? You were back. Back and more obsessed than ever. Knight e5 does nothing. Knight c5 was the plan. Why am I rejecting knight c5? It was a plan. Eggplant. Eggplant. Knight c5. There is the bishop g7 thing. It's not an emergency. And there's bishop c4. Comment in bishop c4. Do you hear me? e6. I believe in the fundamental soundness of Black's position, but at the same time, At the same time, oh shit. Alright. I did drop my A pawn. I don't want to see bishop c4. I don't want to play b5. So this is the lesser of the evils. Nefedov gives me a pawn. I can give him a pawn back. I'm that kind of guy. Help yourself. It's just a pawn. It's free. There's no tricks, no strings attached. You can have the A pawn. Yeah, he took it. So. And next. See what he's up to here. Not an easy tournament here today. Quick hello. You traded. I thought he was going to be more difficult. No. Rip 98. Okay, e5 or e6. The more flexibility, the better. Right? Oh no. If not with rook b4. What is that? And not exactly like barn burner games today. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Okay. Why didn't I play e5? Thought it was more flexible not to. For some reason. 42 with 100 bits. Yeah, now we're moving in on that hype train. Give me something here, Nefdov. Give me something to work with, man. Thought you would play that. Those tasty little morsels. So hard to keep them all protected. Alright, how was that one? Not a great game according to the engine. Not as good a game for both of us as my first one. Peter kind of harsh. Apparently I must have missed some much stronger moves. We both made a lot of mistakes. Both of us made a lot of mistakes after move 20. The opening. I got criticized for knight on BD7. It's the main line. Yeah, it's the main line. Obviously dubious. It's what most grandmasters play here. And then this has all been played before. Yeah, my queen c7 was kind of conservative. My instinct would be normally to play b6. Queen c7 was a little bit passive by me. We're following Korneyev, Belen Lopez from 98. Alright, anyway. Not an easy position to play. I'd not deserved that win. Alright, so what happened, guys? Zenchess didn't deserve a win against Wellen Siddiq. Uber Driver is in first place, beating Saxec-Draw. Oh no, another Tarash? Oh no, Saxec-Draw was white. Oh my god. Saxec-Draw, hang your head in shame. Not only lost to Uber Driver, but you lost to Uber Driver in the Fajarowicz Gambit. Oof. Alright, time to get warmed up. Uber Driver is not winning this tournament. But it's only 6 rounds, so there's no room for mistakes. Sung Prism got a victory against Young Samurai. The noob power, mysterious power of the noob, with a half-point buy. Diecast Solution got timed out in chat due to poop, obsession. Nefedov, Saxec-Draw, Wallon, Siddiq, Ruslan Bear, and Brenton all with 1 and 1. And then Poop Emoji has half point. Sir Hellstorm 0, Gun Samurai 0, Astrobate 0. Alright, Astrobate, there's still lots of time. Still lots of time left, guys. This is a good tournament for practice. Come on. We should have more players. Thank you guys for your donation, 42 with 100 bits. Richard Brenton with the big one, 33.93. We're up to 350. Say you're sorry, Zen Chess. Say you're sorry. 42, are you playing? Or no? Just here to watch? It's not too late to join. This is your last chance to join. No, next round. This is round 3. Yeah, your last chance to join, maybe. Actually, maybe too late next round. You can join up until the halfway point, I believe. Uber driver with 2, Zen Chess with 2. So they should play each other. Unless there's another world. So I'm playing the power of the mysterious noob. Who I don't know who that is. But I have my suspicions. It's a multi-account, I guess. Maybe I blocked someone else. I should have played the Ross Limo, actually. Rock Salima. Play D3 here as well. I did not deserve that win. You did not deserve that win. Yeah. Power of the Noob, clearly a young player who plays too fast. As we've seen from his submissions, submitting trashy blitz games to the analysis stream. Wow. What is that? Can you really do that? Okay. I don't understand. Wow. I guess I'll take. You just impulsively play whatever. Without calculating. It's a 10+2. It's not a long game. So, I mean, yeah. Obviously, there's going to be some element of intuition here. Think first, move later. Not a theory I agree with. 10+2 is a little too slow for not thinking, just playing on complete intuition. Now I have Queen D4 with a double attack. How exactly does White sort that out? No big deal, it's just your bishop, the G7 pawn. I spent my money on my mind, and my mind on my money. I spent my time talking mostly. But I think too. I think and talk. Turkey Farms here. I didn't realize that you were like pterodactyl. Rar. How does anyone know what kind of sound pterodactyls make anyway, right? Oh, this is a neat move. That's a neat move. That's probably best. That is a neat move. Wow. Yeah. I don't want to close this up. Dark squares, white squares. Dark squares, white squares. White squares, dark squares. He's thinking. In the olden days, people were impressed if someone could read without speaking the words out loud. Interesting. I never thought about that. Written, reading stories. Reading without hearing the words. Wow. That's deep. Yeah, this is interesting. Dubious, but... Wow. Okay, so if I take... Pushing, I don't really like. I could, but it leads to a very closed position. I just don't get this player. It's like they're hiding their identity or something. They submit games for the Thursday stream. They won't talk, tell me who they are. Right? Is it my imagination? Many people still do that. They pretend to read. Yeah, that's what they do to try to pick up chicks. Looking intelligent, like they could read or something. See, if I push the pawn, he plays 94, and that knight is very difficult to get rid of. I'm not sure this is better. I'm not sure I'm better. I should have been, but something went wrong, or, he's just a genius. This is weird, man. Very weird. What does that mean? That's kind of a bastard. It's kind of a difficult 6-letter word. 7, actually. I can count. A 7-letter word. That's kind of advanced vocabulary, isn't it? Arsenal fan? Prick would be more useful. Check. Good night. I gotta be a little bit suspicious of Black's play. I don't know, I beat him 3 times, but when were these games played? Like... What was that? I'm not even sure I'm winning in that position. That was a close one. Flesh and castle. Okay, the light squares is bad. My king's in the center, he's out now. I don't know, I mean, I feel like Black should have had a clear disadvantage at the opening, and it's completely gone with this dynamic return pawn sacrifice. Truthfully, I think it's not really gone. It just sort of... It's, I gotta watch knight d5. And my lack of development is unappealing as well. Maybe b3 is too slow. I suspect b3 is too slow. Probably I should get developed. I didn't know where I wanted to castle, but all those open lines on the queen side is kind of like, forget it. This is not at all the kind of game I was expecting it to be. You know, he played a totally bad line. e6, it's horrible for black. And when I play d3, he plays d5, f4, c4 instantly. Which is, I think, the computer's #1 move. Although in practice, I doubt this position has ever been reached. And that's a really dynamic decision to give up the dark square bishop. And black has reasonable counter chances. Yeah, fuck it. F5 feels like I'm asking for too much, but I have to do something. I'm like playing for the dark squares. Knight d5. Knight d5, queen g3. What's the problem? Knight d5, queen g3, knight b4. We have to play for the initiative here. It's a pretty good rating. No, I mean, the dude has submitted games, but what bothers me about this account is that they just stay completely anonymous. Never a word. Never a word in the chat, never a word when you submit games. It's weird. You know, who does that? It's the mute. My suspicion is that it's an account that I banned, you know, under another account, and then they opened a new account. But they like the stream, so they stay with us. Rook c8. No, I have weird feelings about this account. You know, I don't trust them. I don't know what their deal is. Wow, dude. This is kind of scary now. He seems to have everything magically under control. Knight h5. Forget about material dynamics are important here. Attacking on opposite color is important. e3. Knight h5. Queen b3, I mean, you know, my knight's hanging on e5 to queen d4 check. Just keep in mind. He actually is threatening queen d4 check. Queen b3 may be possible, but you know, there's also bishop a6, bishop d5, queen d4 check, and bishop d5. I don't even know. I'm like all in on my threats here. Forget about the queen side. Queen b3 is just too abstract of a move. I looked at it and I said, nah. Our only chance is to do some kind of coordinated attack on the dark squares. I had to keep my knight on e5 protected, thus queen g3. If I play queen h3, for example, it doesn't work. Alright, now this is extremely dangerous. E3 is like game over. Again, material doesn't exist in this position. All that exists is the dark squares and the light squares. Bishop h6 walks into knight h5, and I'm left with an awkward position. And also I have to watch g2. Yeah, I mean, I had to stop and look at queen b3 because it's a forcing move that attacks the bishop on b7. Just likely it doesn't really do anything. Yeah, you should never ignore forcing moves. Bishop h6, knight h5, queen g4. Well, that's when we start to get into the queen d4 check thing again, and my knight's hanging on e5. Now he doesn't have that move. I don't even know what to play. Pawn takes pawn. Bishop h6. Bishop d4. Rook e1. King rooks. Rook d1. This is scary. It's not that easy to defend g7. I was just kidding about that bishop e3 thing. But as I said, I didn't like knight h5. He's a fearful player, isn't he? Sveshnikov player or accelerated dragon. It was knight c6, move 2. I should have played the Roslimo, I forgot. So I played knight c3 first. And I had to play the pseudo Roslimo. And he doesn't play knight d4, which is like black's only move in that line. Almost only move. So I guess I'm winning. Either way. Sack mate. Sack draws other account. No, queen f6, bishop g5 trapped his queen. Equal material. It's a draw. Looks like a draw. Knight, bishop, 4 pawns each. 2 rooks, queen. Totally equal. Right? Approximately. Yeah. Now, did I miss anything? Well, his bishop's hanging and I have mate and 1 on g6. And he can play queen b6 check, but I go to h1. At that point, it becomes rather difficult to defend the g6 square. So I think indeed we're winning. Queen g5 drops a piece. Of course, he might try that. Do I have anything else after queen g5? Yeah, I have better. Okay. I have queen h3 check there. So now I have queen h4, queen g6, double mates, duple mate. Duple mate. That was kind of dicey though, you know, at that point when you were suggesting queen b3. I didn't even know if I'm better objectively. Am I better? Let's take a quick look. Just that position. Oof, I was worse. Jeez. So knight f6 and my knight f3 move is wrong. It wants me to play e5. Yeah, but this is a torturous position. I'm up a pawn. So apparently f5 is a huge blunder. And after bishop a6, I'm in big trouble. I wouldn't have realized that was so big a deal. I mean, it seems surprising. And so when I played queen g3, how about that? It is best. But he has to play queen h5 or knight h5. He should play knight h5 maybe. He's clearly better here. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that he's clearly better. I thought it was like dynamically equal. Wow, that's unbelievable. Oh boy, not good. Some prism? Oh no. What happened? Some prism got steamrolled by a sack draw. Must have been a queen pawn game. No. What? It's still going on? No, it's over. He got steamrolled. Was that a queen pawn game? I don't know. So, I'm tied for first with Uber Driver and Zen Chess. Sack draw is 2, Nefdov 2. So Prism just 1.5. Power of the Noob. Chessman and 42 is in late with a bye. Half point bye. Richard Brenton with 1, etc. Astrobate, I want to see you get on the board today. Buys don't count. Astrobate, you got to get at least a half point. You got bullied in the French? How? You seem to know what you're doing in the French. Saxetra plays everything. He plays the Nimzovich Larson. He plays d4. He plays e4. Please don't make me play Uber Driver. I don't want to be like part of another blog. Just another blog victim. Just another statistic in one of Uber drivers' blogs. Just another roadkill on the way to master. Yeah, I know you love me so much. No mention of me whatsoever. I get it. It's all right. That's cool. Anyway, I hate blogs. Don't put me in the blog. You know how much I hate blogs. I'm just kidding. I just want to be on the sidelines. What? Lol. Shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. I figured you'd get a bye, Astrobate, but you still got 2 rounds left. Play E4. I'm going to play the hippo. Play E4. On command. Nice. Can I command you to play other moves? Ooh, I heard a really funny story today. It sounds kind of cool. Some geek was writing an article about playing Dungeons and Dragons with ChatGPT. You can use like ChatGPT to be your like Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master. Yeah. So, I mean, I quit playing Dungeons and Dragons 35 years ago, but I just thought that was interesting. What else? What other nerd subjects can come up with? Come on, it's the hippo. You know the hippo. Damn, Uber driver. You got some weird fetishes going on. Before it was mommy, now it's daddy. What's up with this guy? What's up with this guy? Too much time on the road, bro. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. F4, okay. We can do that. We can definitely do that. Now it's an E4. Now it's a hippo. He's yeah. I can transpose to the Franco Benoni. But I can also play a normal... Nah, I mean, it's not really a normal Kraken. He hasn't moved to C-Pawn. I had this game in my Simul on Sunday, where after like 3 more moves, there were like 9 dudes who just like left the game. I banned them all. I'm gonna have to lay down the law on the Sunday Simuls. I'm just gonna make it in like flashing lights, like do not play unless you can stay 3 hours, because we had like a record number of people drop. That's why I was 20-0. But I had one that was this exact position: E5, C5, Bishop E3, or maybe E5, C5, C3, Knight C6, Bishop E3, C takes D, Knight H6, and he left the game. I mean, what's the point of that? Like we play 6 moves, get to an interesting position, and you leave the game. Uber driver, dinner's ready. Okay, Mom. And you got like pan to the psycho attic. Uber driver's mom is like a skeleton in the rocking chair. I got your dinner ready, Mom. Sorry, things were a little bit tough out on the road today. I got some roadkill for you, Mom. I found a raccoon. You'll enjoy that one. You got raccoon stew. Dad's buried in the backyard. Feeding the worms. I don't know, Uber driver. I don't know. Don't just. I'll stay out of the blogs. It's all right. Dude, what is happening here? Lovecraftian. Uber driver. Oh, that's what's happening. The everything. I'll have an everything burger. I love it, dude. When I go to like bagel places, I just love the everything bagel. It's got everything. Poppy seeds, garlic, C4, D4, E4, F4. Everything bagel is my favorite. All right. Yeah, poppy seeds. You know, poppy seed bagel. You can fail drug tests through those. Many a good office worker has failed their drug test due to poppy seed bagels. No, I seriously had a roommate who he worked for like a company where they had to get drug tested. I don't know. And like he definitely failed at least once. He had to be careful about not eating poppy seed bagels on the drug testing before the drug testing day. All right. Yeah. Maybe a match with Christian Bauer would whip Uber driver into shape. Just mildly overextended. His position is definitely on the overextended spectrum. As much as I'd like to break the center with F6, I'm going to hold off on that. He's preparing for his great grandma sacrifice. There it is. It's a very effective Greek sacrifice here. Threatening bishop takes h7, castle bishop takes h7. What we're all wondering is how he's going to get out of the center. Could try like queen c2. But I would anticipate queen e2 as more likely. Okay, so queen c2 is not a problem. I don't really care about that. Oh shit, I walked in the Greek gift sacrifice again. I hate when that happens. Oh, there was a Seinfeld episode about poppy seed bagels. Very likely I saw that. Zen chess. I never religiously watched Seinfeld, but I always liked Seinfeld. But it was just hit or miss. I might occasionally see an episode over the years, and I think I remember that now that you mention it. So, one of the like 25% of Seinfeld episodes I've probably seen. How many seasons was Seinfeld anyway? All right. So a3. I think he's preparing queen c2. This is a red flag. He is preparing queen c2. Or possibly, bishop c2, queen e3. f6 is tempting. It's freaking tempting, man. I know Curb Your Enthusiasm is great. You gotta love Larry David. I totally identify with Larry David. Grumpy old man? Check. He's like me, and we have a lot in common. Everything annoys us. The hair, too. The hair. The only thing is I'm not Jewish, so I don't get a lot of his references. But as far as just being, thinning hair, balding, being old and grumpy, I totally identify. If Larry David was like a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, we'd be like the same person. So Uber driver, you're a little loose. You might want to get the steering checked. I think the wheels could come off. The wheels could come off at any time. Yeah, I like the last season. I only watched the last season. Sadly, I should watch the older ones. This is why you don't play c4 against the French. This is why you don't play c4, d4, e4, f4 against the French. Specifically. Oh wait, you can't castle through check. Here comes the acerbate maneuver. Bishop c2. Oh man. Look, if you guys have any, small children, or, you might want to shield their eyes. It's not just the acerbate maneuver. Okay, he's setting up the other thing, right? Pawn takes pawn. The other thing. But I think king h8 makes a certain amount of sense. Anyway, I played f6. Why not continue with king h8? Preparing bishop e6, bishop g8. And getting off this hot diagonal. The only thing, if h7 goes, I'm in real trouble. On queen h7, I don't really have a defense. Come on, Uber driver. Open up and say, ah. Now that move we were expecting a long time ago, right? That was like the original plan. Queen e2, bishop e3, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. So, I just have to consider bishop g4. Which I think is kind of a hollow move anyway. Of course, developing pieces is never really a bad idea. But after, say, like bishop g4, yeah, it's possible. It's not bad. Bishop g4, bishop e3. Everything wins. Everything wins. Bishop g4, pawn takes pawn. But this way he can't play, well, anyway, the knight takes e5. Yeah. Too optimistic. He's just waiting to time that one move threat against h7. There it is, dude. Oh my god. Now the question is queen g8. We do have rook e6 check, which is definitely an idea. I don't like leaving h7 unprotected. Threats have been eliminated. Now you're free to attack. The threat has been nullified. Enemy king still in center. Would you like to attack? He has knight g5. And then sneaking down there. My e7 knight is a little bit of a disappointment. So many good moves here. Interesting is queen e8. Although that's kind of slightly artificial. He's going to have to play king f1 or knight e2. Position is really difficult for white. So much for the castle and queen side idea. Maybe it would be easier to play queen d7, but I didn't want to encourage him to play knight e5, simplify. This is a great time control to play decent chess without investing hours and hours. This is what we did the last couple of rapid tournaments I played in. Okay, king f2, f1, whatever. Right. You're not going anywhere, Wendy. So rook d8. Development. Absolutely. Absolutely. We could go back to g4. It would be funny to go back to G4. He'd love nothing better than a queen exchange, though. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not treating queens. I feel kind of dirty about that. Ugh. Ugh. Too much bullet chess. Does strange things to the brain. All right, Nefedov is still playing Zen chess. Wow. Can you say outside pass pawn? Mm-hmm. Nefedov, very, very practical. Oh. Oh no. A4, he just pushed the pawn. That's slightly disturbing. Wait a minute now. Alright. That kind of sucks, huh? He takes king up there. Okay, Nefedov's gonna have to think about this. Take, king up, king up. That's annoying. Oh no. Oh my god. He hung his e-pawn. I don't know if that was part of the plan. If the amoeba, yeah, Nefedov is in trouble. It looks like if the amoeba falls, if the amoeba comes home to roost, H6 falls. I'm gonna guess this was a Najdorf. It was. Zenchus could seriously regret playing that move. You know, E4 might be... like, throwing the whole win away type of move. Though I don't know that inserting that extra check really helped us. This might be a draw. Though not an easy one. Let's see. What's the analysis final position? Do you have a... That's a draw. Rook A7. Oh yeah, you're attacking the pawn, of course. So it is a draw. Nefedov lost on time. Alright, next round in 236. I play Zen chess, and then Sexac draw, Uber driver, Sun Prism, Nefedov, Richard Brenton up to 2 points, and then 42 Chessman, Power of the Noob, left. Guys, if you do have to leave... Oh, Asteroid got a bye. Alright, Asteroid, I need to see a half point from you at least. Sir Hellstorm played just one game. Diecast Illusion just 2. Young Samurai, 2 games and out. Well and Siddick played 2 games and out. He's now off playing another tournament or games. Ruslan Bear with 1 out of 4. I like this time control. I don't know why we only got 15 players. I guess because it's the Swiss. You know, people see it's the Swiss. They're like, I want to play the Swiss. Swiss is, but a more democratic pairing system. Arenas are anarchy and unfair. So how are we doing? All right, it's 8:43. We have 2 rounds left. I was debating whether to do 6 rounds or 7, but I'm not going to change it now. This late in the game. I'm still waiting to find out if I lost or gained rating points for Friday's Rapid tournament. I'm really curious, like, did I gain like a fraction of a point or like lose a point or something? I'm not sure. I don't care if the organizer doesn't submit it. I'm sure I didn't gain much. If I gained anything, I probably gained like 1/10 of a rating point. But they should submit it. I paid an entry fee of like 4,000 forints, so $10 entry fee. They could at least pay the. They should let me play for free since I'm IM, but I'm an IM. But I'm not. It's fine. I don't mind supporting them, and probably have to pay a bit to get tournaments rated. So, all right, Zen Chess, what's up, Mr. Nydorf? Hey, Ace. That's what my dad's best friend used to call my dad. The dude was like a B-17 gunner in World War II. Okay, Castle. If Rook E1, he takes E4. I'm getting into this Boulderism. It's like a new religion. I don't think that Rook E1 is that good, objectively. I'm having my doubts. We're definitely having our doubts. Rook E1 doesn't seem right here, but could still play D4. Transpose to a bad variation. Knight C3, knight takes C4, knight takes C4, D5, bishop D3. So well, that's what I used to think, Arsenal, but honestly, you know, I came to realize that when played correctly, the proper Bowdler is, it's simply nothing other than a closed Sicilian in reverse, which is played by, you know, a lot of strong players. Bishop closed English with bishop c5 for black. It's not bad. It's no worse than the Smith-Morrow gambit, probably better, objectively. All right, d5. Now, do I push or keep the tension? Chicken or beef? Chicken, beef. e5 is tempting, but I'm kind of overextended there. Not what I planned. Rook e1 was probably inaccuracy, a serious inaccuracy by me. Was, is, will be. Well, what did you say? With knight c6. What do you mean with knight c6? This is specifically against d6. I'm not playing it against knight c6 necessarily. But even that's probably possible. With Mickey Adams, a lot of strong players play bishop c4 against d6. Now here I have knight g5, which is interesting. So it's basically, you know, this is a shit, dude. This is literally a Budapest gambit. Wow. It's a literal Budapest gambit. Crazy, huh? Morales in the house. Isn't that funny? So the white side of the Sicilian could transpose to a Budapest gambit in reverse. No, I mean, I don't recommend playing bishop c4 on move 2. That's, of course it's possible. It's a little bit extreme. All right. Which way do I want to take? h6, doesn't matter. So in some, I think it's a good choice against Sanchez too, because he's very into opening theory and chessable and players like that who study opening theory, you know, consistently, I think that your best bet, you know, they're the best player to play offbeat stuff against. So his rook is trapped on a8 here. Am I just winning the exchange after knight takes f6 check? Bishop takes f6, queen f3. Pawn takes g5, queen takes a8. He didn't follow up, you know, with bishop b7. If you're going to play, it's grapefruits and oranges, right? You're going to play x, you have to follow up with y. He played b6 and then he followed up with h6. So he played d6, I took the pawn, and, you know, he needs to, well, I think trading on e4 maybe. But how often does Zen chess play the white side of the Budapest gambit? You might ask yourself. He doesn't play d4, no. As far as I know. Do you have a snarky plan to trap my queen? Queen a8, bishop b7. Dude, no way. He has it. Shit. He has it. He has that. No way. Queen e8, bishop b7. Okay, I get two rooks and a pawn. I mean, Queen A7. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Queen A8, bishop B7. What am I talking about? I take, he goes there. I take, if knight C6, I have Queen A4. If not knight C6, he takes my knight, I get away. So. Worst case scenario. Bishop B1. Oh, this is annoying. Alright, I'm going to take your bishop. Okay. That's not vital. I could play F4. Very major concession. Knight G3. Perhaps developing would be the best. I don't know. Alright. If I have to... He had a really weird move there, by the way, you know, earlier. I don't know if anyone looked at this, but he can play bishop D8. You know, with the idea of playing that. But I have knight D6, I guess. So it's not so simple. So we just have a position that only Rosenthalis would love. The World Senior, I made Rosenthalis sack his queen. it was sound, and I lost the game. It was so sick. I was a tiny bit better, but I became overly optimistic. So now we've got enough material. 2 rooks for the queen. But we are backward. Bankward. Vanquished. I'm feeling vanquished. You're threatening bishop D3. Yeah, that's annoying. Alright, have a pawn back. I have a weird idea here. But amazingly, like Zen chess, as complicated as this position is, he's only used 3 minutes for the whole game. Would you call that like just playing on intuition, or? He hasn't moved instantly, but he's been quick. He never spends too much time on any moves, no matter how critical the situation. Of course, he's also been thinking on my time, which is a huge problem. He's been thinking on my time, primarily. I would guess the position's equal. In a difficult to... Wow, I thought he would take. He did not take. He must have seen something I didn't see, or it's some kind of trick. the heck is going on? Boldlery going where no man has gone before. I don't know what got into him. That's mildly annoying. Dude, Asterby would have definitely played knight g4 there. It's a safe assumption. Okay. Knight f6. Wow, I didn't think he would do that. Yeah, he continues to make moves that surprise me because he's not calculating. I guess he's not calculating enough. I'm going to assume that 10 plus 2 is not his normal time control. So he's just not adjusting. He's usually playing faster. He's playing this like it's a 5-0 or something. Or 5, you know, 5-2, 5-1. Asteroid has a win. All right. Richard Brenton, did you do that? Did you do that? Now we're really getting coordinated. There's a problem. I don't know about this decision. I didn't really like him locking down d3. Two rooks for the queen. Quiet in the chat room. I can trust you guys in this. Just what is that? Queen d6 about? Does someone want to tell me what that's about? Do I want to know? How's my bowler bishop? Maybe my H pawn is a chance in the long run. This outside pass pawn. Arsenal later. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate your commentary. Yeah, it's a tough position. I don't know who's better. What is that? He keeps surprising me with like weird moves. Oh no. No. That I understand. Right. Oh no. He's like wouldn't let my bishop out. Slow rolling me on the queen takes rook check? Really? Oh. Wow. Zenchus is like one of those guys who in the video games, they'll like not just kill you, you know? I don't even think like black's better here. You saw it at some point. Man. He is better still. Yeah, my last move. It was bad. I mean, I just blundered in time pressure. Wow. It was a bad game. Unbelievable. You're better all the way? It seems completely unfair. After knight c6, which doesn't work because of rook takes e6. Obviously, I saw that. Everyone saw rook takes e6 except for me. So, unbelievably, after I do this, I'm just lost. This is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, I have 2 rooks for the queen. Why am I so much worse here? That's unbelievable. You didn't take the pawn, and then I'm fine. Again, you wouldn't take the pawn. Why wouldn't you take the pawn? It's so weird. I missed rook b1. I'm not seeing anything. Wow. That was a disaster. Just never thought I could lose. Dropping rooks wasn't the only problem there. So Zenchess has 4.5 out of 5. This guy's serious, right? That sucks. You guys want to make it 10 rounds? I don't know, man. Wow. You just kept making like weird moves, I guess just to keep me confused and time pressure. You like you based your moves on, you know, just not simplifying because you had more time. It was time based decisions. So every time you made a move, it was something I didn't expect. You know, I expected you to take on d4, you didn't do that. I expected you to take the pawn on c4, you didn't do that. You know, you just like kept making moves that I would never have expected. And I'm the one that's like thinking all the time. I'm just curious if Zenchess purposely makes moves that he knows maybe aren't best, but you're trying to purposefully not trade, even though it might be the better move. Well, somebody better beat Zenchess, because I really don't like finishing second or maybe even third. Zenchess normally doesn't finish the tournaments. He must have been in good form today. Well, he shouldn't have won against Nefedov either. Nefedov, thanks for losing on time in a drawn endgame. Although I admit, like, Zenchess is incredibly fast. I normally don't play with the 2-second increments. That didn't help me. Yeah, Zenchess. Ratings, oddly his rapid rating is lower than his blitz. Yeah, I mean, Nefedov, you need to be able to play technical endgames with almost, you know, instant moves. And you've got to demonstrate that in tournament play, too. I got paired with Asterbate. Wow. Alright, man. You better play a good game. I'm serious, Asterbate. I want to see a good game today. No berserking. I understand Nefedov crumbling in complex positions, but what you need to be able to do, and maybe you have to practice it, is if it's a technical rooking game like that. I had one like that in this exact time control over the board 2 months ago, and I was able to hold it. You know, so you gotta 2-second increments should be enough to hold a dead drawn rook in game. It wasn't complicated. He has 2 extra isolated pawns, but you know that you know those pawns are not that dangerous. I mean, part of it is laziness or just not being self-confident in your ability, but you should have the technique necessary. Welcome, Senezia. I wouldn't fault you if it was, and Asterby continues to do this. How many times has he played this? I wouldn't fault you if it was at all complicated, but just letting your flag fall with 2-second increments is unacceptable. What if it was OTB? You can't let that happen. You can't just drop that pawn. Aspirate, take your time. That was a weird game against Sanchez. Oh my god. Aspirate, what are you doing? He lost his central pawn again. It's always the d pawn that goes. Stop playing bishop d3 against the King's Indian. It's not a good move here. If you want to do that, you have to play h3 first to stop bishop g4. You can do bishop d3, but you have to preempt it with h3, man. We'll talk about it later. Man. Yeah, he's pretty fried. This knight f4 is really annoying. What am I going to do about knight f4? I can let him play it and just bring my bishop back to d7, I guess. Or I could play e5, but it blocks a lot of my pieces playing e5. Not really a move I would prefer to make. Yeah, good job, Zen Chess. Too quick. I let you have too much time edge. You're just too practical for me. Masturbate's making some really bad chess today. He's probably burned out after 5 rounds. Not his A game. And Acer, you should definitely not go into a King's Indian against me. You know, you should not go into d4. You need to play what you know. The stronger the player, the more you need to stick to your guns and play what you know. You can experiment against weaker players, but as you don't really understand d4 that well, I would definitely not go into a d4 type position against the master. If that's not your main opening, live and learn. So what's happening with Zen Chess? I'm probably screwed on tie breaks anyway. Breep. Nice try. So I got 2. Queen f5. Yes, Queen f5. This is probably not as good. Bishop takes b2. Yeah. I don't really want to fix your pawns. That was a weird loss against Zen Chess. I let the whole thing spiral out of control. Thinking I'm just winning the exchange. So he ends up getting a lot more counterplay there than I thought. I didn't think it was necessary. To worry there. I had knight rook e6. I never would have seen it. Still, it's hard to get over those bad games. I can't let it go. So Master Beat's still dangerous here. Remember when he got me on f2 a couple simuls ago? Almost won. If he gets the initiative, he can be dangerous. Oh no, the plane. The plane. The plane. Why, b7's hanging now? Not really. I feel like you got him with his own sort of sleazy cheapo. This tournament was a bit too short. Zen chess, sack, draw. Ooh, Zen chess better here too. Black solid. It looks like what is this? What the heck was this? Some kind of like Steinitz? No, it was a Pierce classical. I didn't know Zen chess played the classical variation against the Pierce. Bishop takes f3 doesn't seem right. It's kind of premature, no? It turned into a King's Indian. Nice positional play by Zen chess controlling the e4 square. Black's gonna have to fight for a draw. They both have tons of time. You thought Pierce players just target bishops and push queenside pawns. Yeah, well, I mean, the classical... This bishop g4 is... you know, one of the traditional main lines. But this exchange on f3 immediately seems maybe inaccurate. I think black's supposed to play e5. I've definitely like had this position before with white. Probably with both colors. He exchanged prematurely. Though I don't know what white's supposed to do. Maybe d5 is good. So if sack draw plays knight d4, I mean this is important. He might be able to play knight d4 here. His knight isn't necessarily trapped. You know, after knight d4, bishop d1, black can nibble at the structure with like c6. And white needs time to move his knight and play c3 in order. It's not clear to me that that knight gets trapped. If knight d4 works, he should probably play that. So probably Zen chess wins the tournament even with a loss here, based on tiebreak. Black has conducted the game what I would call kind of like a passive style. The whites played very solidly. Yeah, after knight d1, bishop d4, knight d4, bishop d1, black plays like c6. And I'm not sure that you can trap his knight on d4. I think after 97, you're just better. You know, he's given up his late square bishop without really any good justification. This is like a classic position. Objectively, black is probably still holding, but has 0 active counterplay. This move is risky. But interesting. This is going to create imbalance. And both sides have half their time left. I kind of like c6. I mean, this is the first hint of counterplay black has gone for. At first it looks bad, and it might be bad, but it's complicated. At least it complicates a little. Yeah, white has to think now. Do you want to trade? Do you have any tactics? Do you want to just secure that pawn? White has at least 3 candidate moves here. That's the wildest of them. My gut instinct would be maybe... Oh! Man, instant decision there. Wow, that was weird. Another one of Zen chess, like, quick moves. What the hell is going on? We're gonna get to, like, a boring technical ending. Looks like. Like my first round game against Sung Prism. Move 11 subscribed. 95 months. Okay, Mr. Coffee's way behind you. At 90 months. Move 11. 95 months. And the founder. Looks tasty. Yeah, I mean, white's a tiny bit better, but I'm not really thinking it's enough. But as everyone knows, I've been known to be wrong. Objectively, it should be a draw. Let's wait as some kind of tactic here. She might. This is a little bit uncomfortable for black. He didn't really want to put his king on f7. He wanted his knight to go to e6. As far as tasty goes, I mean, this is like, you know, it's not tasty like a stripped sirloin. This is more like a cupcake or something. The pawns are symmetrical, first of all. That's not great for winning chances. You'd rather have the imbalanced structure. Now it looks like Zen chess has concretely blundered and losing his e-pawn. That would be good for me, I guess, if sac-sac draw wins. If sac-sac draw wins, there's a 3-way tie for first. Actually, better if sac-sac draw doesn't win. I would technically tie for first, though, which is kind of cool. I guess that's better. I can get clear second. Would you rather be clear second or a tie for first, but lose on tie break? Even if white wins, loses this pawn on e4, Zenchess should still draw this endgame, by the way, with a strong bishop. This is Junta Akeda, Grandmaster Norm type position. The bishop's good. Black has a couple of Isolani. It's not enough for black to win with proper play, unless black wins another pawn. The bishop and rook are a really good combo. Rip your podium. So sack draw with more time and a pawn up. But I still think that Zenchess in a long game would have very good chances to draw this. Now, no king e4 there. That was the better move. Interesting that Zenchess sack draw went conservative with his king. Why not king e4? Bro, king e4 was way more active. Your king was a monster on e4. That was a huge inaccuracy. You're hitting his bishop. You're even like helping your pieces to set up possible mating nets. King e6 was very conservative. After losing to Zenchess, I'm not sorry to see him lose. I mean, I'm vindictive, but I still think that white has tremendous drawing chances here. King e4 was a great shot for black. That should be like automatic. Yeah, I had a weird game. Oh, Scheveningen 2 is here. Wow, I was thinking about players that we haven't seen in a long time. Scheveningen 2 from Poland. One of our oldest regular viewers at one point. Rook c1. Rook c1 seems mildly passive, but the rook's mobile there. Yeah, now he's got his pawn protected. As I said before, very good drawing chances for white. Bishop pawns on both sides, 2 Isolani. The b6 pawn could be a threat, so black has to be careful. Imagine if black's king was on e4. He could attack with all his pieces. h5 looks pretty good. Try to gain some space, maybe choke him in with g5, g4. This is a weird move. Like, he's trying to talk white into trading rooks. King d5, like, literally, you have no threat. I mean, that's an extremely weird move. Weird. Very weird. You might be trying to trick white into something like Rook c7, take, blockade, and win the pawn. I'm losing my voice. King d5 is not a plan. It's a playing for time type move. BFD. I'm rooting for sack draw, but, you know, in my chess mind, I'm rooting for the underdog to hold the draw here. I want revenge against Zenchess, but I want to see the weaker side hold the draw in this ending. Because I think that objectively it probably is a draw. If black was down the knight, reckon what? No. What are you talking about? Yeah, it looks like Zenchess's time pressure is a serious problem. Mm-hmm. 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 Technical land. I don't know. Is this a draw? Not a lot of pawns left. I think it probably is a draw. But who am I to know for sure? G5 looks good. Looks like a game I had recently. Offhand game I played yesterday. It's not enough pawns left. He didn't trade on G4. Maybe he had to not trade. I think he could have traded on G4. I don't know, man. I'm pretty skeptical of Zenchess's decision to not trade there. Zenchess doesn't seem fazed by this king maneuver. I can understand. King maneuver. I don't like bishop f2 though. Why put your bishop on a passive square? Bishop's really bothering me, you know. Why he wants to keep his bishop on f2. I think it's a draw. The mighty bishop. The bishop is mightier than the knight. Oh my god, he hung a piece. He hung a piece, but Zenchess might be holding it anyway. But you need some crafty. Maybe black's winning, but it's tricky. I don't think that's gonna win. Is it? Oh, we're gonna queen. That's a draw. Isn't it? Yeah. Wow, dude. That was cutting it close. Jesus Christ, man. That was really cutting it close. And now you lose. So what did you say? Your bet is on black losing this. Oh man, I mean, it was a draw. But Zenchess didn't play queen c3 check for some reason. Probably this is a win somehow. So white made a blunder with that. And now any check like queen c3 or something is a dead draw. But he had tons of time and he played that. That's kind of lame. Still, it's a draw. Okay. And now this. The only way to lose. What about like king a1? It's a draw. That was really a disaster. Oof. It's funny that king takes g3 is the only winning move. I was thinking you might have this. That's a draw too. So king takes g3, h5. Yeah, this ended up being the only way the black... But you had better move king f4. King f4 was better. Here, g3. So you're closer. Your king is closer and cutting off the white king more. After queen, g1, king f6, you win the queen on the diagonal. Yeah, it's totally over. King h7 is the only move. It almost looks like... Okay, this isn't so easy. Check. King g8. Queen d5, check. King h7. Queen h5, check. Oh no, that's awesome. So king g7. Queen f7, check. You all saw this, right? And knight f5 mate. It looks like... No, king f3 is winning too? Yeah. But it's far more complicated without the king on f4. Isn't it a lot harder? Check, king g8, check, king h7, check, king... Why not king g8? King g8, queen d5, check, king h7, check. Here, 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 here. This is cool. But, you know, one thing I really wanted to point out was this position. Now, Zen Chess played h4, but honestly, you have a dark square bishop. You want to trade pawns. It just seems, the computer likes h4, but it seems to me, like, on principle, I would rather take this way. And it's a draw still. Less pawns, it's less complicated. I don't see the draw in having more pawns on dark squares staying on the board. You know, it's just like, objectively, this is just the way white can lose. If you can trade pawns, you definitely should. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a really back and forth game. And the essential championship. But it was close. So we all got 4.5. Zen Chess 4.5. Me 4.5. Sax Draw 4.5. But Zen Chess Tiebreaks is the best. He played Ruslan, Wellen Siddiq, Uber Driver, Zen Chess, Nefidov, me, and it's not just who you play. I mean, it's, I guess, calculated by how many points they scored. But let's look at performance ratings. Zen Chess performance rating was 2452. My performance rating was 2360, and Sax Draw performance rating was 2334. So, yeah, good job, Zen Chess. Deservedly winning the tournament on tiebreak with 4.5. I was second. Didn't play great today, but it was still instructive tournament. Sax Draw. Next time I'll probably make it 7 rounds. I wasn't sure how the 10+2 would go. But it's fairly early. Sax Draw 4.5. Sun Prism with 4. He held me to a draw in the first round with a very good game. Uber Driver, only 3 draws out of 7. So your draw percentage a little too low there, Uber Driver. You really need to have at least 4 draws to lead the tournament. He still led the tournament in draws with just 3, but you know it's not guaranteed. You really need like 4 draws. Nefidov with just 2 draws. Ruslan Bear with 3 points. Brenton with 2, and thanks for the donation. Asterbait got himself a win against Richard, so he didn't strike out. And then Chessman with 1.5 only played a couple games. 42 played a couple of games. The Power of the Noob left after playing me. Well and Siddiq just 2 games. Diecast just 2 games, and the rest just 1. But anyway, guys, okay, I know that Swisses aren't as popular as Arena, but I feel like somehow there's a little break between the games. We're a little more serious. The quality of chess, not in my case, but in general, seems like it was or is better. You know, we could do 10 plus 5. I just wanted to try the 10 plus 2 and see how that went. Anyway, we'll be back on Thursday with an analysis stream. Thanks to Richard Brenton and 42 with 100 bits. And those of you like Move 11 who subscribed for a mere, 95 months. It's not much. And what's up? What do you mean with just 2 draws? Uber Driver has 3 draws, bro. He totally crushed you on the draw. We don't play better when we berserk. Some of us do. But, okay. Zen Chess deserved to win. Even with a loss in the last round, he still won the tournament. So good job. Thanks, guys, for playing. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. And, you know, good to see all of you here for our SLADGIE International Tapir Day Chess Club weekly classical Ponda Swiss in this case. British seniors, come over. British seniors. Oh no. I'm a senior, but I'm not British. August. Is it an open though? Like all seniors? Or just for British players? Is it like an open? Obviously I can't be the British senior champion. Is the tournament open? Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks for the tip. I'll see you guys later. You could start drinking tea from that. Drinking team. You got it confused. Not drinking tea. Drinking team. Bye-bye, guys.